And a warm welcome to everyone to Luton Irish Forum's 5th St Brigid Day celebration. I'm Elisa and I started as a volunteer with Luton Irish Forum St Brigid's Day and now I've become a trustee, which is a wonderful way to be involved in my community. This year, well, we've swapped the beautiful setting of Patridge Green with its fantastic architecture and grounds for the comfort of our own living rooms and kitchens. It's been a strange year, but we at Luton Irish Forum were determined that despite COVID, we would mark St Brigid's Day, this important celebration of Irish women. In fact, there's never been a better time for us all to come together, virtually of course, and have the crack. St Brigid is the female patron saint of Ireland and her feast day is the 1st of February. There's also the legend of the Celtic goddess Brigid, and over the centuries the two traditions have kind of become intertwined. We celebrate St Brigid's Day as a way of reflecting on the impact that Irish women have made. If you'd like to read more about this, why not have a read of your St Brigid's Day booklet? Now, everyone was sent a digital copy along with their invite, but we do have hard copies of this, and if you want to have one posted out to you, just let us know and we'd be happy to do that. Particularly those who had a copy of one of the wonderful hampers from Jack Bear Catering, because they were tucked inside. Thank you, Jack Bear Catering. Every hamper I've seen so far has been amazing. So this year's theme is Irish Women in Comedy. Now, I don't know about you, but right now, I think it's important to be able to laugh. And there's something about the Irish that we've always been able to do that. And our humour has often been shaped by adversity. We're good at turning a bad situation on its head and drawing irreverent humour out of it. I hope you'll agree with the quote from the Irish Times that they say, humour is a safety valve, and no matter how bad things get, let us hope we never lose our capacity to laugh at whatever life throws at us. That's been a key reason for some of the choices of our clips. It might be a bit of strong language, just letting you know that, but for many of us, that's part of Irish communication and culture. This afternoon, we hope to bring you some very funny Irish and second-generation Irish women. And I'd like to give a big welcome to some very special guests. Rachel Hopkins and Sarah Owen, our local MPs for Luton. Jerry Malumbi, director of the Triskelion Irish Theatre Company and activist from Irish Welfare in Britain, and Sarah Finucane from the Crackers Back magazine. But first, before we go into the sketches, we have a very special St Brigid's Day message from Adrian O'Neill, the Irish ambassador to the UK. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Adrian O'Neill, I'm the Irish ambassador and you're all very welcome to the Irish Embassy in London. And I'm delighted to join you for Luton Irish Forum's 5th annual St Brigid's afternoon tea, and it's a wonderful opportunity for all of you to come together in the community and across generations to celebrate St Brigid's Day. In recent years, the importance of...
Oh, you know what? I've got it on mute.
So everyone, we're just going to mute everyone and then we can...
who host events to mark this important day. And it's an ideal opportunity to celebrate the creativity of women, solidarity of women, the leadership of women, and I'm delighted to see that your event today is all focused on the achievements of Irish women in comedy, which is something which is very marked, particularly here in Great Britain. And I'm very impressed that the organisers in Luton Irish Forum have, despite all the current challenges, have managed to organise this event and are actually bringing the afternoon tea to your doorsteps. But it's no surprise to me that the Luton Irish team have managed to do this because it's such a remarkable organisation with such amazing management and volunteers. So congratulations to the Forum for this afternoon's event. At the Embassy, we have been hosting events to mark St Brigid's Day since 2018. And they have been always very wonderful, joyful occasions We typically have about 200 people in the building. Sadly, this year, that's not possible. However, we were determined not to let the occasion go by without ensuring that St Brigid had her place. So we, like you, are doing a virtual event this year, online tomorrow evening, Sunday evening at 6 p.m. And we have a lovely lineup of conversation, of music and poetry. So please put it in your diaries and join us online if you can. Now, some of you from your school days may remember some lines of poetry in Irish. It's one of the very few lines of poetry that I actually remember. Inish Chaptan Arig, Begin Law, Igdol Kanshinu, Teresh, Fela Brida, Ardoig Me, Micho. And that opening line, Inish Chaptan Arig, now comes the spring. And of course, in Ireland, St Brigid's Day on the 1st of February traditionally marks the beginning of spring and the hope that the darkest days are behind us and the brighter days are ahead. And that, of course, is particularly appropriate this year and should be a source of comfort to us all. So thanks again to Luton Irish Forum for organising this afternoon's event. I hope you all have a lovely cup of tea, and I wish you all a very happy St. Brigid's Day.
Okay, so that was a special message from the ambassador recorded this week. So at this point, if we're in Punchbury, I would announce tea is served. So tuck in. At any point you want to go put the kettle on again, feel free. If you want to make me a cup of tea, you can come round. That's great, because I can't get it off here. So yeah, everyone relax like you're in your own home. So I'm going to have a quick look. If you're into panto, if you love a panto, give us a wave. I want to see how many people like panto. Quite a few of us. So yeah, so panto, a lot of people think it's a British thing. It's actually an Italian. It's Italian art form from the 16th century with various characters, including the Harlequin or the Joker. It came to Ireland, so the earliest recorded pantomime in Ireland was in Dublin in the early 1700s. And they used the traditional characters that the Italians had created. But by the 1840s, they started putting in Irish themes. So Irish storylines, kind of things that were the Irish everyday, different things that were happening, a bit of satire, a bit of taking the mick out of politicians here and there. And it wasn't until the late 1800s that the pantomime dame was introduced. And it was a very strange time because in society it would be very taboo, but on the stage, all the men dressed as women and were the female characters, and all the females dressed as men and were all the male characters. So pantomime is still a much loved art form, and especially this year it has been greatly missed. We know that the arts and the theatre industry have been really hit by the pandemic in both countries. So we know that people didn't get to enjoy their Christmas pantos as they usually do. But Ireland has one legendary star from the stage, Maureen Potter. She started her career as a child actor on stage in the 1930s. In 2001, she became the first star to place her handprints in the Walk of Fame outside the Gaiety Theatre. So I'm going to just show you a clip of some of her work.
Happiness is in the hands of the Lord, boys and girls, but he doesn't always give us what we ask. Like my little friend, Sister Philomena. Sister Philomena was on her holidays, and on her holidays she was taken to the races, and at the races she was taken to the cleaner. And there she was, just before the last race, only 1 pound, one little pound left. I know what I do, she. I'll put it on Leicester Piggott and say a little prayer. So off down to the bookies. Hail Mary, full of grace, let Leicester Piggott win this race. Puts on the pound. Our Father who art in heaven, Forum send Leicester home at 100-7. And the race starts, and she's bouncing up and down to see what's happening. And a big voice booms out. This is the voice of the Holy Ghost. St Brigid was left at the pole. When I sing at concerts, they queue for admission. I do some dress dances by gracious permission. Juries, the castle, the Gresham, and Winds. These are a few of my favorite inns. I sing them ballads in Gaelic and German, and when they're happy, I give a short sermon on envy, gluttony, and too many gins. These are a few of my favorite sins. When my words bite, when the shoes pinch, when they're feeling sad, I give them my Mary O'Hara grin. And then they don't feel so bad. But once or twice, my advice has been rather resented. Some drunk may scoff, "Hey sister, cheer off," before you send us demented. Then I will know it is time to go. I know when I've been slighted. And as I crawl back over the wall, Father Cleary will be only delighted.
Okay, so that's Maureen Potter. It's so weird, silent applause. Does anyone have any memories of Maureen Potter, or is anyone a fan? You can unmute yourself. Oh, I think some people, you have to unmute yourself. I muted everybody.
Very quickly, Fiona. Yeah, I loved her on television around Christmas time. She was, her and Jimmy O'Dea were Morecambe and Wise to us in Ireland growing up. And I went to see her in Panto at the Gaiety as a young man. Yeah, she was something else. Great sense of timing and wit. Thanks for choosing that. It's very nice.
Anyone?
We used to see her. They come, all the actors and actresses of Ireland used to come to Mount Anvil Convent every Holy Thursday. And at lunchtime, they come out round the grounds where our house was. So they all come down. So I've met Maureen Potter, Jimmy O'Dea, Noel Purcell, Mixer Reid, all these people come down. So my mother loved them. Thank you.
Brilliant. So Panto is still alive and well. So as you see that Panto, you can relate, once it got onto TV, it kind of turned into what we know as the variety shows. So you can kind of see the influence. But Panto itself is still alive and well, as we all know at Christmas. There is a modern Panto star that I'm about to show you. All the dubs on the call would probably know her better. So we're going to have, she's June Rogers. She is singing, she's on this clip's from the Late Late Show, and she's singing about a very topical subject that hit Ireland a few years ago.
I've got a new job. Do you want to buy some water? Yes, that's right, you gotta pay. 'Cause it's not free anymore. Unless you borrow, well, then you're okay. The man from Fine Gael said the water's scarce 'cause it doesn't fall from the sky. Do you want to buy some water? It's quite expensive Irish water. No? Nice try. I'm the girl from Irish Water, and I've something have to tell. To flush away your number ones and number twos you have to pay as well. I know it's crap. Things will get a little smelly unless you cough the dust. We're watching the meters fly. Drip, drop, drip, drop, drip, drop. We no longer need your details. PPS and all the rest. If you do, there'd be a bonus too. But for us, not you. So just give in. And we give you back your water, but not for free. So what are you gonna do? Do you wanna buy some water? No, I didn't think so, you tight gets. You'll pay in the end, though, won't you?
So that was June Rogers. Does anyone know? Does anyone know of June Rogers, or is a fan of Panto? Go on, Joan, Mum. Joan, Mum. Let's unmute yourself.
Yeah, June is my first cousin, and we sort of grew up together until I came to England in the 70s. And she was always a very, very funny young girl and had everyone laughing no matter what subject came up or whatever. We still keep in touch, although we didn't for a number of years. But now we keep in touch, thankfully, through the internet. And I'm very proud of her because she's really worked hard. She does a lot of charity work as well. And she's happy. And what you see is what you get, really, with June. She's always laughing and joking. So I'm really glad you had that clip on. That's lovely. Thank you, Fiona.
Excellent. Does anyone a regular Panto goer? Does anyone want to talk about why they like Panto so much? What they enjoy about it? Check if there's any wave in. Pauline, is that a wave?
Yeah, it's a wave. I love Panto. I love going at Christmas time. It makes Christmas for me. Unfortunately, I never got to it in Dublin. I had too many kids and I could never afford to go. But I've got here in England and I love it. And you know, it's an opportunity to see stars that off the TV that you'd never get to see. I know it's a novelty, but it's just, you know, it's a bit of a kick. But I love the, you know, the interaction and the, you know, shouting back, he's behind you, or, you know, look behind, you know, all the kind of things that you do at Panto. So yeah, I do love it. And I think it gives kids, it's a kind of, it's an introduction to theatre for kids. I love theatre. I went to theatre in Dublin when I lived in Dublin, but not pantomime. But I think pantomime is a great introduction to proper theatre for children. So I love her for that. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Pauline.
Right. I'll mute myself now.
So, Panto on the stage has definitely influenced our TVs. So this brings us to when you clearly show the influence of Panto for our next act. He's a male writer, but is a very famous female character. And what's special about this is they actually break what they call is the fourth wall. So they actually speak to camera. They actually leave in when people get their lines wrong, and they actually show all the cameramen and the audience, often through mishaps, but they keep it in, and it adds to the show. Now, we all know, I know that this next act is almost very Marmite, so I know there's a lot of people who don't like, but I know there's a lot of people that love. And this is where the kind of strong language starts coming in that we warned you about earlier.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mrs. Brown's Boys. She's Mrs. Brown. That's Mrs. Brown. Oh, Mrs. Brown.
I can't make it out. Everything looks like it's just a dead chihuahua to me. Where do I get some light?
You won't need a light. Sure, the sun shines out of my arse.
Don't believe your mother. Oh, hello. And season's greetings. I'll be with you in a second. I'm just going deep into the forest to check something.
Mommy, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, Cathy, good girl. Dr. Flynn is on the phone. Tell him I'll be with him in a minute. I'm just checking something for him.
Hello, Dr. Flynn. Yes, she said she's just checking something.
I can't make anything out.
Oh, hot. Oh.
Shut up, you big sissy.
Uh-oh.
Grandad, you blew out the frickin' candle.
Sorry.
Dr. Flynn wants to know, what are you checking?
Dr. Flynn asked me to check if Grandad's testicles had gone back yet.
No, Mommy. He asked you to check if Grandad's test results had come back yet.
Tell him the postman hasn't come yet.
I'll get her to call you later, Dr. Flynn.
Cathy, take him into his bedroom. And you might think about shaving. Cathy. Well, I could have done without that. In fact, I could have done without this whole year. Everybody in February was raving about COVID-19. Nobody talked about the 18 COVIDs before that. And then people started panicking. Before you knew it, the shelves in the shops were empty. What were people thinking? The man on the television said, we're going to have a pandemic. The next thing people are going, pandemic? Oh my God, how will I wipe my arse? Madness. Rory and Dino decided that they wanted to get their own brand of hairdryer on the market. The wash and blow dryer. Where did they go to get it made? Wuhan in China. Yep, they're still there, they can't get back. Poor Grandad had to isolate himself in his bedroom for 2 weeks. He lost 7 pounds. All I fed him during the 2 weeks was cream crackers and cheese. It's the only thing that would fit under the door.
What's funny?
Nothing, Cathy. Sit down. Do you want a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Hello, Winnie. Is the weather bad out there? No, Winnie, in the script it says mumble, not fucking mime. Here, take that off you. Go on, take it off you and sit down.
Mommy, why is Winnie wearing that? You don't have to cover up now for your next door neighbour.
Don't tell her. I get great fun walking around the supermarket with Buzz Aldrin. Sit down, Winnie.
Thanks, love.
You hardly want tea.
Oh, yes, please.
Fuck's sake.
You look tired, Pat.
Why wouldn't I be? I had gym this morning.
Oh. And how is Jim?
Happiest milkman of things.
Lovely. Here, any news from Rory and Gino?
Just the usual weekly fact face.
FaceTime?
Whatever.
Well, I hope they don't get the virus.
Jesus, Winnie, they probably fucking started it.
Do you think so?
No! Any news your end?
Oh, yeah. Sheridan went to see a dietitian.
Oh, good for her.
So, what did the dietitian say?
Well, she said, he said she could eat anything other than tomatoes.
Well, try that again.
She said, he said.
No, wait.
No. She said, he said she could eat anything except tomatoes.
You're getting so fucking close.
She said,
yes.
He said she could eat anything,
yes,
except tomatoes.
But Sharon doesn't like tomatoes.
I know, wasn't that lucky?
I've gone over to see her. See you later, Pat.
See you, chicken.
You know, I really missed you during the lockdown, Winnie.
I missed you too, Agnes. Could I borrow a couple of toilet rolls off you, love?
Winnie, I swear to God, if I had some, I'd give them to you. Did you to amuse yourself during the lockdown?
Well, I did a jigsaw.
Yeah.
I did some knitting.
Uh-huh.
And I ran out of stuff to watch on the telly.
I know. So many freaking repeats.
So that was Mrs. Brown. Are there any Mrs. Brown fans here? I've got loads of waving in the hands. Anyone would like to say what they love about Mrs. Brown's Boys, what they find funny or entertained by? Looking for any waves.
We just love their biting humour. It's just so funny, so funny.
Yeah, and when they get things wrong, they just keep filming, so it's great.
Catherine, are you trying to say something? You're on mute.
Sandra, I think, has got a comment.
Oh, here's Catherine, and then we'll take Sandra.
Okay.
I think they're so funny. I just overlook the bad language. I don't hear that. They just give me a great laugh. And they're together. I think they're very good.
Fantastic. Sandra?
Yeah.
I find her really hilarious, but at the same time, sometimes she's a little bit too vulgar. But she does remind me of my aunt, that she's so quick and so just on the mark every single time. But yeah, she's very clever. But please mute me quickly because the dog's about to start carrying on.
Thanks, Sandra. Okay, so Mrs. Brown. Sorry, no, you're on mute.
Yeah, we've another Sandra, I think, was going to comment. Okay. Sandra Hayes.
Yeah, it's not often that there's two Sandras on a call, so I tried. I realised Mrs. Brown was universal when a few years ago at Christmas I was home in Ireland, and my niece's mother-in-law, who was also staying for Christmas and was in her 80s, said, I have to, can we watch something tonight on television? We all thought, oh God, what are we going to be watching? Said, it's a thing called Mrs. Brown's Boys. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And she wanted to watch it quietly so that she wouldn't upset anybody, and we all thought this was brilliant. And now the whole family watch it as a Christmas night thing together, because it's usually on Christmas. And this year we were even texting each other during the performances. We were in different parts of the world, including our Canadian and American relatives.
Oh, fantastic, thanks. Oh, I've just pressed something. Oh. Sorry, my computer just, everything came up. I was like, I've lost you all. So yes, Mrs. Brown. So Mrs. Brown.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Being a dub myself, it just reminds me of home. So I make sure the kids and the husband and anybody who's here watches it if ever it's on, and we're all about. So it's just one of them things that actually, and I suppose for this year, not being able to get home for Christmas, or actually give most of my family still live in Dublin, so it actually just brings a tear to your eye, but brings back nice memories too.
Excellent.
Fiona, we've got a comment from Jerry Manumbi as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're on mute, Jerry.
Jerry's still on mute. Can I just say that it's Noreen McLaughlin's birthday today? Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Fiona, very quickly.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Very quickly, and people probably know this. Winnie is Brendan O'Carroll's sister. The lady who plays his daughter is his wife, and Buster, the wide boy, is his son.
Brilliant. Literally a family show.
Yeah.
Now, Mrs. Brown has a rival. She's been on our screens for years. We all know someone like her, but it's definitely a rival for Mrs. Brown. So I'm going to show you.
Oh.
It has to be. Oh, everything. Mrs. Doyle.
Oh, I love her.
So this is a classic Mrs. Doyle clip, but I will remain nameless when I put this up on the Luton Irish Forum's Facebook last year, and I got a message from one of the team going, "That's me, that's me." Just,
You better be off, Mrs. Doyle. I'll get this. Oh, no, Mrs. Devine, put that away. I'll get this. Don't be silly. I'll pay. You won't put that away. Now, don't be stupid, Mrs. Doyle. No, 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 no. Now, just put your money away. You're mad. No, 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 no. Take the money. Take the money. I'm writing a check. No, you're not. No, you're not. I that checkbook. Don't give it to me. Please.
so this is Mrs. Doyle. So we put what I did was when I put the post up last year on the Facebook, I asked a very controversial question: who is better, Mrs. Brown or Mrs. Doyle? So if you use your chat function, and we're going to do a wave count, we're going to vote who is better, Mrs. Brown or Mrs. Doyle. So you can put it in the chat, or do a hands up wave if you think it's Mrs. Brown. Keep waving. Okay. And if you think it's Mrs. Doyle. Oh. And look at I'm just looking. Okay, so drum roll, a virtual drum roll. St Brigid's 2021, it is official that Mrs. Doyle is better than Mrs. Brown.
Hooray! She's from my county.
Okay, so that brings us on.
What county is that? County Galway. County Galway. Oh, wonderful. Angalip, yeah. Yeah, golf, yeah.
Now, there may be, everyone must know Mrs. Doyle or have a bit of piece of Mrs. Doyle in them.
Yeah.
Anyone got any comments about Mrs. Doyle or any funny stories of your Mrs. Doyle moments?
Not so much funny comments, but she's completely different in real life, as it were.
Yeah.
You would never recognize her as who she is on television, because she was on the Father Ted a long time, wasn't she? Yeah. Yes. She's on all those programs.
Go on, go on, go on.
Go on, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so this brings us...
Fiona, we've got Sandra Marcantonia looking to say something.
Sandra.
Talking about Mrs. Doyle, I had an embarrassing occasion in the summer. As you know, Fiona, I've got metastatic lung cancer, and because I couldn't get to either Lord's or Knock, I decided I'd go to Walsingham. So I went with my cousin and my cousin's best friend, and my cousin's best friend's husband was very, very kind and drove us. Anyway, because we got stuck in traffic, we decided we'd go up as north as Hunstanton, where we had fish and chips, and then decided we'd come back from there. So me doing Mrs. Doyle, I'm paying for this, I'm paying for this, I'm paying for this. Of course, I had just got quite a large amount of money from work because I took an ill health retirement and took my lump sum large enough to pay the mortgage off. So anyway, we went into the fish and chip shop. I insisted on paying the bill, and I finally was able to convince them that I was paying the bill, not quite wrestling on the floor. But anyway, I handed my card over, and because I hadn't sorted out my account that morning, I'd got all my money in my deposit account and not enough in my current account. And so my card was declined. And so it was just so embarrassing, because I bet the woman thought that, you know, I had no money, but I just had, like, you know, well over 100 grand in this deposit account. And it was just, I was mortified, but And my cousin's wife said to me, "There you go, Billy Big Bollocks." It was very embarrassing. So if you're going to do it, and do it with a card, just make sure you've got the right amount of money in the right account.
Thanks, Sandra. So
if you can mute me again, because the dog.
Yeah. There you go. So brings us on to our first raffle draw. So everyone have your raffle tickets ready. So I've got my stew pot. It's all been mixed round, and I'm going to dig deep. Our first tickets are 361 to 365. 361 to 365. Oh, I think Anne. Anne, are you trying to unmute?
I am unmuted now. Yeah. Yes, I've got 361 to 365.
Fantastic.
I never win raffles. This is brilliant. Thank you.
Anne, would you like an Amazon voucher, the handmade St Brigid's cross, or the book?
I never shop with Amazon, but I would like the St Brigid's cross, please.
Fantastic.
As I have always, you can't see it terribly well, but I have been wearing a St Brigid's cross ever since, I don't know, I can't remember when.
Lovely. Congratulations. Well done, Anne.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry, I just pressed mute. Sorry, Anne. Okay, so also, we now know someone's birthday, but we also know there's a second birthday. Is Lorraine here? Lorraine? Oh, maybe she's a bit shy. Oh.
Is it Lorraine Cast-Agnoli?
I think so, yeah.
Lorraine? We ask you to unmute.
There's trouble, 52 people on the call. We can't.
Hello?
Hi, Lorraine.
Oh, I can't see anybody. Hold on 1 second. Oh, it's all on screen. No, I see not Perry. Sorry, I'm just getting Perry back. Don't swear, because you're on the whole group. Can you? I can't. I've lost them. They're trying to speak to me on the Zoom.
What am I here?
You're on the
computer.
Yeah. I'll be back one moment. My husband's trying to get so we can see each other. Oh, here we are. So unmute.
Happy birthday.
Oh, how do we do that? Hold on. Hello?
Please now, Lorraine.
I can't hear the girls. I can't hear these ladies.
Can you hear us, Lorraine?
Okay. Should we come off? Everyone loves comedy. No, we've got to see the ladies, the comedy ladies. Oh, I can hear, I think.
Turn the volume up.
Hello. So I'm going to turn this down. I'll just explain what I'm doing. So myself and 3 friends, we're on WhatsApp watching this. I'm celebrating my birthday on Monday, the big 6-0. So we thought we can't be together, so we'll join into this. Hence why we've been on mute, talking to each other. Well, obviously I need my husband for assistance with all of this. So we've been watching and listening a bit. So here we are.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Indeed I was. I told the girls, sorry, say that again to me, Fiona.
Didn't your grandparents your name?
Well, I told the girls the story. So my parents are Galway, came in the 50s. I have a brother, John Patrick, after my father. When I was born, it was said, like you said, that my nan in Ireland, oh, Kathleen's had a Bridget. And Mum had decided she'd heard this name Lorraine at the clinic and thought she'd name me that, but she had no idea how to spell it. So I was going around telling people that she'd had this little girl, but couldn't tell my nan in Ireland, because Nan was telling everybody that Kathleen had had a Bridget on St Brigid's Day. It was weeks or months before she could tell them that I was actually called Lorraine. Hence, yeah.
Well,
happy birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday, lady. I'm going to put you back on mute, that's it. So, now I'm going to pass you back to Elise for more presentations. Oh, Elise, you're on mute, sorry.
Perfect. So what was that the ambassador was saying about the first day of spring? If anyone, I don't know if you can see behind here, but out my window, but it's sleeting at the moment and lashing down rain. So yeah, I think spring might be a while off yet, but never mind. Anyways, so we're moving on to the next group of Irish women in comedy. Post-war Ireland saw a huge wave of immigration, and at this point, Ireland's possible best export was its young people. Many of us are in the UK now because our parents caught the boat. So let's look at three women who were the product of that time: Julie Walters, Kathy Burke, and Carolina Hearn. What links all of these three women, as well as their incredible comic talent, is they're all second-generation Irish, and all three came from or lived in what were large Irish communities across Britain. Walters was from Birmingham, Burke from Camden Town, and Hearn grew up in Manchester. So starting off there with Julie Walters, she was one of 5 children born into the Walters family in Birmingham. Her mum, Mary O'Brien, was from Mayo, and her dad was English. Her great-grandma, Maria O'Brien, had taken on the Irish landowners as part of the land campaign back in the day, in the Victorian days, which is a huge thing for a woman to have done at the time. But when Julie was born there in 1950, the Walters family were joined by Julie's granny O'Brien. And Julie has fondly said that her granny was the sketch for, was the inspiration for Acorn Antiques' Mrs. Overall, and the waitress from the classic sketch, which some people know as Two Suits, which is known as The Waitress. Originally, Walters went into nursing, a traditional occupation for many Irish women. She trained as a student nurse at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham, and she did it for 18 months. But she decided to enrol at Manchester Polytechnic of Drama, and the rest is history. During the 70s and 80s, Woods and Walters partnered together in successful comedy shows. Woods wrote the sketches, which was unusual for the time, as most comedy was written by men. I can think of one exception to that, which would be Carla Lane, and I was looking her up this morning, but she's not of Irish extraction. But what Wood and Walters were doing, they were parodying soap operas or the daytime women's programmes that invited you to cut up an expensive leather coat to make a lovely bookmark. Walters went on to, of course, to star in Educated Rita opposite Michael Caine, and she's now Dame Julie Walters, who's a national treasure. Her career has also included a huge body of series work, such as The Boys from the Blackstaff, and a brilliant portrayal of Mo Molam. And I think Fiona has a sketch there we're going to cut over to now, and that's Two Suits. Well, I hope you all enjoy that, and particularly if you were eating soup at the time. Right, so shall I go on to the next one now, Fiona?
Yep, if you wish, yep.
Perfect. Okay, so the next person we're going to look at is Kathy Burke. Kathy was born in Camden in London, and very sadly her mum died of cancer when she was just 2, and she was raised by foster neighbours until about the age of 6 when she returned to her dad. But sadly, Dad was an alcoholic. He was a builder, and there were 2 older brothers, so it was a bit of a chaotic childhood. She described her older brother John as her mother figure. It was a very difficult time. Dad was often out of work and abusive and violent when drunk. But she made peace with him later on in life. From such a sad start in life, Burke's life changed when she was 16, when she was offered a place at the Anna Sher School. This was a drama and acting school in the local neighbourhood of Islington. And Anna Sher was a famous dramatist, but she would also offer places to poor kids from the local area. So there was a very strong social element to this. And then From that, she got a role in a film called Scrubbers, which isn't a comedy. It was a very tough film about life in a girl's borstal. But for the next few years, seamlessly, she combined widely different demands of serious acting roles and comic characters appearing in Harry Enfield's Chums programme. And who can forget Kevin and Perry or Waynetta's Slob? And again with French and Saunders, where she was playing the magazine editor, Magda. And she was also in several plays, notably by Mike Leigh, It's a Great Big Shame, and another called Mr. Rose Virgins, where she won an award, the Royal Television Society's Best Actress Award in 1993. Now, Burke's always been very much her own woman. She's outspoken and she refuses to be pigeonholed, and some might find her brash, but in Gimme, 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 she used her scriptwriting talent to create the 30-something man-eater, Linda LaHughes, and achieved huge viewing figures for 3 series. Eventually, Burke quit. She wanted to work as a director. She's a one-off, and she said she wasn't motivated by money. So let's go over now and look at some clips of her work.
I know you've got 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Are you in the middle?
No, I'm the youngest.
Oh, okay. And were you funny when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think I was funny, but just in that way that people wanted to be my mate because I was funny.
Did you show off to your brothers? Did you want to make them laugh?
I really wanted to make them laugh. I remember actually the first time I made my brothers laugh, and it was John Noakes was doing Blue Peter, and he'd gone to Brazil, and that big statue of Jesus, and he was talking about Jesus and the man that made the statue, and at the end I said the punchline was, and he got his Blue Peter badge. And I just remember both my brothers laughing their heads off, and it was the very first time I'd made them laugh.
Did they make you laugh?
We were massive Morecambe and Wise fans, anyone of our generation, do you know what I mean? And my brother John had glasses, so he was very good at doing the old Eric Morecambe glasses gag. And yeah, he was. I remember John being sort of funnier than Barry. Barry was quite serious, but John would do his Eric Morecambe impressions, and so we'd watch Morecambe and Wise, and Saturdays we'd listen to Kenny Everett on the radio, Saturday afternoons. So, and also things like Round the Horn. So we were very sort of, John was, because he was the eldest, he was in control of what comedy we watched and listened to. So it's all down to him, really.
And what about your dad?
I don't remember him being funny, no.
Was he ever the audience then for you guys?
Yeah, I remember, I mean, I would make my dad laugh unintentionally, because I used to like, Petula Clark had a programme on Saturday nights, and I used to love dancing, Petula Clark. And this used to make my dad laugh quite a lot. But I wasn't intending to make him laugh. I was trying to, you know, be a serious dancer, part of the first generation, second generation, whatever they were called. So,
I think I did exactly that same thing, actually.
Yeah.
Did you do impressions?
Yeah. Well, I used to do impressions of my dad. So I couldn't really do that to Dad. But the other time I really made my brothers laugh was when my dad came home very worse for wear with the booze one night, and he fell asleep on the chair. And I remember slicking his hair on the side and getting a bit of coal from the fire and putting a little tash, and I started goose around him. And the boys thought that was highly amusing. So we had sort of half-dead Hitler in the chair, and I was probably about 6 at the time or something, but anything to get a giggle, really.
So cheap laugh, really.
Really cheap.
Yeah, and on it goes.
Yeah.
I'm still making a career out of that.
Hello, Pat, how are you? Unlucky business with the MP. Still the hello thing should sort all that out. Right, I better make this quick. I've got a laundry opening and a feminine wash shorts to get to by 6. And all this with my extended working champagne lunch with a Nooska bloody ample floating about here. Right. This month I want articles about how lovely spending money is. Expensive things are better, cosmetics are great. I want money, 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 spend, spend, spend. I don't want to see any more photos of gormless skeletons with no brains, no makeup and no bloody tits.
I think poor teenagers won't sell a Chanel suit.
They're too thin.
Too young.
The models get any younger, Pats, they'll be chucking fetuses down the catwalk. We need new photos of everyone. Staff, editors and writers to go at the front of the magazine. Stupid bloody idea, but everybody's doing it.
Or I'll get the hello chaps to do a head and shoulders of me.
Good. I blame the papers myself. They started the trend. Journos with egos, oh, I don't like them. I mean, it's bad enough having to read most of the crap that's written without having to look at a photo of the bastard that wrote it. These are the shots I had done. I don't care what I look like. It's the attitude.
The amazing Kathy Burke. So moving on now to the last of our trio, we're going to look at Caroline Aherne. Caroline grew up in Manchester, where her father, Burke Aherne, he worked on the railways. He drank and there was very little money coming into the house, which was hard for her mother Maureen and her brother Patrick. Caroline was born with, now be careful how I say this, is retinoblastoma. It's an eye condition, and she was sent to Lourdes in search of a miracle cure after her local Catholic church had raised money for the trip. She was left severely impaired in one eye. Caroline studied drama at Liverpool Polytechnic, and she was soon featuring as a nun, Sister Mary Immaculate, on a programme called Friday Night Live, which was a big staple of the 80s, certainly was for me anyway. And she was with people like Ben Elton and Harry Enfield. And after that, there was the Fast Show, a series of memorable characters. Now, previously, it might have been the men who played the main character and the woman was very much the feed, you know, sort of in the background. But Aherne stole the show with her spotlight on her own creations. And also, of course, there's the dysfunctional royal family. She drew heavily on her own childhood for this and the people that she met when she was growing up. It was so relatable, and I think we all know a Jim Royal. I don't think my ex-sister-in-law is actually watching this, but I honestly thought that Aherne had met her when she wrote Denise Royal. And then, of course, there was the wonderful Mrs. Merton, who, under the guise of a middle-aged woman, could ask very daring questions of her guests. Again, as well as performing with these incredible characters, she wrote them. And all three women in this section, I think she's the one that's probably had the biggest influence on the entertainment industry. But sadly, Caroline died aged 52, but she leaves a legacy of comic creation. All of these women came from very humble Irish immigrant roots and have made a huge contribution as performers, writers and directors, paving the way for the next generation. And after this short clip of Caroline Aherne, Fiona's going to tell you about those. Thank you.
Celebrate of another comic legend with the help of her royal mum and two fast friends.
She was the kindest and most generous girl that you could ever really wish to meet.
She was one of those people that you just felt there was something special about her.
She really left her mark in so many ways. She was an incredible talent.
Starting out as a receptionist at Granada TV, Caroline soon broke into the comedy circuit.
We went to see Caroline and she was doing her Sister Mary Immaculate. I can barely repeat any of the acts here.
Myself and the nuns, we get a discount on Virgin Airlines for some reason. Something to do with subliminal advertising.
She was able to say quite outrageous things, which was sort of what she did a lot in the rest of her career.
But what first attracted you to the millionaire Paul Daniels?
She was really leery and confrontational in a way that sort of like old ladies can get away with, you know. Anyone else would have got a clump.
I think your horoscopes are very, very accurate. So, you know, how long does it take you to make them up of an evening?
She really stood out and we thought, she's really talented. If we capture her now and put her in our fast show that nobody knew about, we can ride on her coattails and yeah, get some kudos for ourselves. And that's what we did.
Anti-dandruff shampoo's that for you? Oh, that's it. What's wrong with a scabby scalp? Oh, one year, he ran the toilet from Gatwick to Magaluf. He missed out on the whole Pyrenees. You know, he was gutted. What were you, Roy?
Relieved.
Gutted, I think, Roy.
When we were filming the Fast Show, she said she wanted to do this series that was just going to be about a family sitting around watching TV.
She'd sent me the script and I was looking at it. I showed Charlie, he went, there's only about 12 pages here. When we asked her, what are you going to do? She said, there's going to be silence and gaps.
Something I've been thinking of doing for a while.
What?
Will you marry me?
Anthony, can I get crunching yours from here?
I mean, a lot of people thought we improvised a lot of that, but it wasn't. It was very, very exact. You had to know the lines, you had to know the pauses, the length of the pauses.
The really funny female character in it was the mother, although that character that she played actually had a lot of the big emotional moments.
What if the baby doesn't like me? What if I don't like the baby?
It was her observation of life, the truthfulness of it, and the humour of life.
Today, the one show.
Yeah.
The one show is the #1 show.
The BBC had originally wanted a traditional sitcom with a laughter track. Caroline did not.
She fought very hard for what she believed to be right.
She had a sort of rod of iron inside her.
She could be quite scary because she knew what she wanted. Sometimes she'd really lose it, you know, and storm off. And out of that, we built a naughty corner. It was just such fun. And I'm very sad that we'll never do it again, really.
It's fair to say, by sticking to her instincts, Caroline changed the game. Most of the modern comedies are shot in that more realistic way. And that really was the royal family that started us down that track. And that's a huge achievement for Caroline. 2 years ago, aged just 52, Caroline Aherne passed away.
You know, we all speak about her with everyone in the Fast Show with a real affection, and there's also a sort of respect and an acknowledgement that she was, you know, like probably slightly better than us.
Caroline changed British comedy.
You wonder how such vibrancy can just disappear, really. No, she was just a beautiful person, extremely kind, generous, and funny. She's always in my thoughts, always.
I remember.
And myself and Elise thought this next part was just too funny not to show you. So here's more of Caroline's work.
Celebrate the life